And we are recording. Um, we're still open for topics of discussion here for today. Thomas left the rest of us, and uh, the one thing I wanted to look over is let's see, who's making noise there? Is that you? There? Yeah, I'm gonna mute. Oh, you're muted. Okay, that sounds. It went away, whatever it was.
Yeah, I've got a lawnmower outside my window here. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Dan Connolly has done some interesting work on simplifying Rolang application development. And I haven't really had a chance to look at it much, so I figured we can look at it together. Um, I'll share my screen. And let's see, we had uh, this session yesterday where we went over the Swagger and was working on the Explorer.shell, which I can show you also. Um, and we did a Rolang blog, you know, a blog article on rolang.org. And if anyone's interested, we can show you that as well. If we look at the Swagger here, okay, listen. I guess Dan had some of this generated automatically. Is everyone familiar with Swagger?
No, I'm not. Actually, if you can give kind of a brief explanation of what Swagger is, that'd be helpful.
Well, do we have, okay, there's RChain rnode has an API. Okay, and Swagger is, I guess, the name for Open API. And Open API is really the format that this is in. It's in YAML format, yet another markup language, which gets rid of all the parentheses and commas and other bullshit to define data structures. And this tells us all what everything we need to know about executing things on Observer, Testnet, RChain.coop. Okay, and for example, there's a blocks protocol. I mean, a blocks API call, where we give it how many blocks we want, I guess. We can get, there's an API for block, which we give it a hash, and it'll give us the block. And we can give it deploy ID and blah blah. So this is the formal definition. Okay, and then we can go to a site that, or we can include a library for. Oops, I just killed it. So I can copy this URL. Oh no, I want the raw. I want the raw file. Copy the URL, and then there's a site we can go to, and there's probably a lot of places on the net we can go to, as well as we can serve our own. In fact, we do serve our own Swagger for the. I can show you that too, but not for rnode. So then we go to Swagger.io, what they call Pet Store. I don't know why it's called Pet Store. Interesting idea. Oh, I can say that's the example. They have the example here of the API for this Pet Store. Pet Store.swagger.io. So here you have the things, and you can try out this Pet Store API, and you can actually run stuff. But we don't want to. We don't want to use the Pet Store. We want to use the rnode. So for example, we can get the status of the rnode. If I try it out, we can execute it. Okay, and this shows us the curl command that we would use if we wanted to do this from the command line. We request URL, and here's the response. So this tells us the rnode address URI of the node. It gives us the version and the version hash that's running. It tells us we have 6 peers, and it tells us we have 10 nodes. Isn't that nice?
Ah, okay.
Okay, so and we can call any of these things. Like we can do a get here, and then we have to try it out. I'm not sure where we have to do that. And let's just look at the last block. And we can see the last block.
Does the last block show what block number it is?
Yep.
Where's I'm curious to see what block number.
The block number.
No, 401,000.
Right,
Okay.
This is testnet.
Testnet. That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
Okay,
testnet.
we could. Okay, we just changed. If we just change the host name here, it would.
Okay.
Go to mainnet, right?
Right.
I don't know if there's a way to make that variable. Whoa, and I won't be able to hear you unless I change my audio to I have to change my audio since now the power's back on.
Jim, did you use your power there?
Yeah, I lost the power. But,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just saying I don't want to interrupt your flow. If you want to continue on showing us the rest of the APIs.
yeah,
You have to restart your computer.
I don't know how much people want to see. I mean, anybody can go themselves and explore the API. I guess that would be education. I'm not sure. Why doesn't this TV go on? Oh well. We can certainly look at some more of that. And I don't know why my monitor's not going on at all. Died or something. Let me just try one more thing here.
Okay.
Yeah, I just power on it worked. Okay, so we can share the screen. And let me just move this over here. Oops. Wrong thing. So if I do actually do something, it'll make a difference. Okay, so we did look at a block here, and it doesn't look like this block has any deploys. Where's the binds? Deploy count is 1. That's interesting. I don't see, I see the validators. I don't see I don't see the deploys. I'm going to copy the block hash,
All right.
and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to do a get block. It should give us the same thing. Give it that block hash. Execute. And here I go, now I got the deploys.
Uh,
Okay, which is just one deploy though. It said deploy count 2, didn't it?
no, I think it said deploy count 1.
So for some reason, that didn't give us the deploys. Now we can see the deploy. And this deploy is a very simple Rolang program, which just says, make a new unforgeable name called A in the empty program.
Mm.
So this is like the minimum Rolang program that you could run.
Okay.
And this this is run by a process that that deploys that runs a propose to each block. Okay, and um, so it's a minimum deploy, just so that it'll do something.
Okay, so every block that's created is going to have at least one deploy,
Right.
and that right there is the one deploy.
Thank you. That's okay. And then there's the deploy ID. Okay, when you run something, you're waiting for the result. Okay, what you'll normally the only information you're going to have is the deploy ID, and the deploy ID is actually the signature of the deploy.
Okay.
And so if we get this, we try it out. Now, okay, obviously we don't need to do this now because we already got the block. But if we just did a deploy, the only thing we know is the deploy ID. That's it. You know? So we can look at it, and if we go look too soon, it won't exist yet. We'll get an error. But if it's been deployed, to, if it's been proposed, we'll get it back, and we'll get a result. And here's the result, which is the block. That had the deploy, the 40136 block that we were looking at originally. And once again, we get it without the deploys, which I never noticed before. The Exploredeploy. Well, what do we want to Exploredeploy? Let me steal something. Oops, that's not what, that's an image of it. So I'm going to just copy and paste some row line here. And I'm not exactly sure what this URI is for, but let's say I have a URI, I'm trying to get it. And where'd it go? this where I put it? Wait, Exploredeploy. Try it out. Oh. Okay, so I'm setting a return to be the deploy ID, which is the only thing I have. The only name I know at this point. And it's what should get displayed by the result. And I'm going to create a new value channel in which I'm going to, let me get rid of the comment. I'm going to look up, okay, so I defined the name lookup here to be a registry lookup. And here's an ID that I want to look up. And I think it's something to do with the voting. We'll find out when we get it back. It could be a ballot, it could be the list of the voters, it could be.
Okay.
So it's some data stored on RChain.
Right.
And I can execute it. And I get that. And this gives me the curl command. If I wanted to do it through command line. And it just gives me the result. And if I look back here, I got returned a tuple here, which says the value from registry, and then it gives us the value.
Okay.
So whatever we stored at this URI is going to be the value here.
Okay.
Okay, so where is it? I lost it. Responses, here it is. Response body. Okay, so I got to block that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I didn't get the result. Okay, well, this probably isn't a good way to use Exploredeploy.
Mm.
And that sort of brings us to another thing that I can show you is the in the I wrote an Explore script, okay, because I had trouble building it. And this Explore script basically does the same thing we were doing before. It does a new return, and in this case, in Exploredeploy, actually, you don't need. Maybe that's what I did wrong. You don't need to say. You don't have a deploy ID because it's not deployed. It's not really deployed. So let me just go back to this. And I'm going to take off this deploy ID thing because we don't have a deploy ID. And I didn't really see it there, but I may have gotten an error back and I somehow missed it down here. I don't think I did get any error. It just gave me the block. Okay, so I just return here and then I execute. I'll try it again.
Was that comma after return? Was that
yeah, because
still
there's two names I'm introducing. The first one is an unforgeable name return.
Okay.
The second is a Powerbox lookup function that does
right.
registry lookup.
Okay.
So there's commas between them.
Gotcha.
Okay, so this is done. And look at this. We got value from registry.
Okay.
Okay, we got a tuple, expr tuple with the value from register, and then it got a list, expr list, which is the value. You know, we got the value from registry, and then we got a value, which is turns out to be a list, and it's a list of rev addresses.
Okay.
So these were the for my test of the voting. These were the people who voted. These were the allowed voters.
Okay.
So if you're not on this list, your vote doesn't count.
Okay.
That works very fine. That works very fine. Okay. Now you can see how this has. It's kind of hard to, to pick this result out of all this stuff.
Right.
So I wrote a script which does basically the same thing. It reads the value from a registry. Now it does a registry. Okay. Okay, so it defines a return and the lookup from the registry, and then you can pass in an argument, which is the URI you want. And I have a default value here set for URI. So if I run this, it says command not found. Chmod plus X current file. Let's make it executable. Oops. I don't know what it's talking about. Bang. I forgot the bang. It means execute percent. Nope. I don't. Okay, well, for some reason it wouldn't run by itself, but if I say dash and then the name, it ran it. Okay, we can see here it pulled out the actual ballot.
Okay.
Okay, which this was, if we looked at this over here, which is this. So if we look at this URI over here, okay, and we execute that. Okay, we'll get back to ballot. Well, you can see this ballot, everything is embedded in an EXPR data. You know, it has a type, a map, and then it has the data for the map.
Right.
Then it has another map, and it has the data for the map. And then it has a type string, and then it has the data for the string. Okay, this is not the result you want.
Right.
Right. So I did this to I ended up doing this procedure so that I took out all that stuff, so you just see the ballot.
Right.
The ballot, each ballot item has a no address, a yes address, and a description.
Okay.
Okay, and Actually, this one has a link also. Ideally, all these valid items will have links where you can get more information on the candidate or whatever. Like this was what we tested: Daffy Duck, Donald Duck, Roadrunner, Wiley Coyote, and an item of business. So I thought this would be a good exercise to learn JQ, which JQ is a way to really handle easily JSON in shell, in bash. But if you look at this, in order to detype these things, I had to do a lot of pretty complex logic. I had to see if it has a tuple, I had to see if it had a list, see if it had a map, see if it had a string. And then I had to walk through the structure with this. And then because the standard version of JQ was older, I had to define walk. Now walk is defined is built in. But so I ended up writing a lot of code here, and it was very complex. Well, I got help, fortunately, because I would have never been able to do it on my own. So it probably would have been just as easy to write a JavaScript program or something else to do this. But JQ is fun. If you look at the tally of the votes, I use it extensively. Like here, I get the list of yes. From the transaction server, I get the list of yes addresses. I mean, it goes through. Okay, and then I select from the JSON response the results that have a timestamp that was before the end of the vote, before the voting was cut off. So the votes had to come before.
Right.
Select just the from address from that. Okay, this is, and then I pipe that into sort dash unique to dash u, so to get the unique yes votes.
Okay.
You can't vote twice, right? But you can see I used the JQ here, and it was pretty easy.
Okay. Now I'm following you.
I mean, that would have been a real pain in the butt to get that to do this.
Yeah.
Without the JQ.
Yeah. So you're automating the results.
The JSON processing, right?
Yeah.
So, and Bash may not have been the best language to use for here, but it's very good for prototyping, and it was a model so that Dan just went through and converted this to JavaScript.
Oh, I see.
So
okay.
Tally.js equivalent, which I'm going to study so that I can learn JavaScript better.
Okay. So what all this code that's in JQ,
it's Bash. It's it's shell script. It's Bash script with using JQ as a tool.
Oh, JQ is the tool. Oh, okay.
The tool in Bash to process JSON information. JSON.
Okay. Okay. So what we're looking at there is actually Bash script.
Yeah.
Okay. And JQ is that stand for JSON query or?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Well, they have the JQ library.
Yeah.
And
So that's a tool which you send the bash script and it sorts that, pulls out all the information that you want, so everything gets automated and cleaned up.
yeah, I mean, if I just get these transfers raw, okay, what I'm going to get is, oops, yeah, I'm doing a transfer. Okay, and this is, I guess, one of the vote addresses, yes or no,
Okay.
on some topic. So I want to get the history. I'm going to get the history of the transfers on this address.
Okay.
Okay, and they say that I have, um, the from address and the to address. Now,
Mm.
this is the guy. The to address is the same as this.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking at. These are people that voted for this thing. So
Right.
this is the first vote for this choice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then within there is this timestamp in deploy timestamp. Is
Mm-hmm.
this timestamp? Okay, that's what I'm using to deploy timestamp to see if this record is before
Who voted before a certain time?
is before the close of the election.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I pull out the from address from that. So that's
Okay.
that. So now this is the guy who voted.
Okay.
And then here we can see we get all these. We get we have 3 votes. This address voted. This guy voted, and this guy voted.
Okay.
So I'm going to get three back from this. So I basically get a list of 3 yes votes, and then I can loop through the accounts that are in the yes votes.
Mm-hmm.
For each of those accounts, I can check to see if the guy's registered.
I am on my way out.
All right, honey.
The dogs have been out.
Thank you. And then we have the work that Dan has done, which I wanted to look at. Is there any questions on what we've looked at so far?
No, I don't have any questions, but this is very helpful. It's insightful as to what all you've been working on.
Hey, Jim, I got one question. When you doing a sort and then unique to find the, are you getting the last vote or are you getting any randomly, whatever the user?
What do you mean? I'm getting, okay, I have the yes address.
Okay. I mean, do you take the most recent vote? So if I want to change my vote, place.
Yes, yes. This is this what do you call it? List of transactions. Okay, is always in timestamp order. You're always going to get the most recent one first. It's looking backwards down the chain for transactions. So it's starting with the current one and going backwards. So this would be the most recent vote. And
So when you're doing a sort, what are you sorting on?
Oh,
you said you did. Isn't that going to redo your order of these?
yeah, I think I screwed up there, didn't I? I sort of forgot about that sort. Because then when I go through them, oh. I'm getting back only a list of addresses. right? Okay, I don't know which transaction it's associated with. So you know, if I voted twice yes, okay, you're saying, um, uh, but this sort is done after I check the timestamp. I'm only including things that are users that voted on time. Now let's see, what's the question again? The most recent vote.
I'm sorry, you could vote yes, and then you can change your mind and say no, right? So which one will get? Because what I was trying to see was that you were sorting, and then you're doing a unique, and I'm just
Right,
wondering
that
if
just gives us a list of voters. It doesn't, you know, and it's only for one choice. It's either the yes choice or the no choice. They're not mixed. Okay, each yes or no has a separate address. Okay, so now here's where I am. Where am I? Where do I have voting history now? Okay, down here we have if here I put together the voters. Okay, well, actually, this is just for debugging. But I said double here equal to the list of voters, the yes voters and no voters. So if somebody did both, they're going to be in this list twice. And then I sort that, and then I do a unique dash double. So I only get the ones that exist more than once into the variable double. And then if double's not empty, then I have an alert, and I have the list of addresses voted both yes and no. Okay, and then for each voter in double, I go back to the transaction server. Okay, and I get the transactions for the voter. And if and these are most recent first. So if I find a yes first or a no first, I break out of the loop. Okay, and I adjust the yes. Now if I find a yes first, that means his most recent vote was a yes, and I subtract one from the no votes. And if I find the other, and then I break out of the loop. And if I find a no vote first, I subtract one from the yes votes, and then I break out of the loop. Okay, so I do actually a separate. Instead of looking at the transactions according to the vote option, I'm looking at transactions in terms of the voter. And then, so instead of looking for voters in, yeah, I'm doing another access. Is that clear? Did I lose you on that, Grinder?
Yeah, I think I follow it. I just wanted to make sure that the unique was not losing some data.
Yeah, no, we don't care about. There really isn't. This is a much, this is the only really easy way to do it, and not make any mistake. know, is if where we have double voting, just handle that special case. Say, okay, which did you vote for first, yes or no? But here I'm only looking at yes votes. I'm only looking at no votes. So which one was first doesn't make any sense at that point. I could have cached the information so that I didn't have to get it again, but that's what the cache is for. That's what the server is for, is caching stuff. All right.
Very good.
So let's see. We have where is not this? So this is big fun here. And the other thing I wanted to look at was the jQuery file. And I never heard of the jQuery file before. Us old timers used makefiles, and he had a makefile he was using for this, which basically touched a file to say what state it is, and to keep track of whether a file's, in other words, if a file's been already been deployed, it doesn't need to deploy it again. So he has a file that marks when it was deployed, and then when you type make, it only has to do what needs to be done. And if you type make validator, it runs a validator for you. What does this do? It always does a Genesis? I don't know. It looks like this, I don't know. So is it? Well, I definitely may have some questions for Dan on this stuff. But the jQuery file is apparently going to do some similar stuff. Okay, he defines his sources as being inbox, directory, and community.row. Then he has targets. So he takes this map of the sources to so the file name with the comma after it is a target, and row project management dot row info path source. So he's got so I don't know if I'll be able to go over this much because I haven't seen it before, but apparently what this is supposed to do for us, it's supposed to pick when we when we run something like community, when we type Jake or whatever it is we type row PM or whatever, and it goes to make something like a directory, let's say. Did he have directory in that list? I don't know, but let's take. Let me use something I'm sure he had in the community. Okay, so he's going to okay, he is going to insert into the registry the address of community, which is the address of this contract. Okay, so it's write only, it's the bundle plus, and it gets that, and then it's using the same syntax that I used for robot. It's using pound define community, and it's doing the URI. So his Jake file picks up that defined community, and it keeps track of the URI, so that every time if the community contract gets deployed again, then everywhere the URI is going to be recompiled. Which is one of the main headaches of doing development in Roland. Every time you redeploy something, the URI changes, and then anywhere you used it, you have to fix it. This is being set up to do that for you. I don't know if this is. Let's see if he does it. It does the same thing in inbox.
This sounds like this is what Dan briefly talked about on that earlier call of handling URIs in the registry. Is this the, this
Yes.
must be the
That's what we're looking at.
the file. Okay.
These are arbitrary. I don't get this. This indentation is all wrong. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's got it working yet, really. I don't even see where he's got it. Oh, he does it, and he's doing it. Define inbox URI. So if we look at community, there should be a, okay, it should be a reference to directory in there. See how that's handled. Control F directory. Okay, so he has an import of directory.row. That's interesting. So somewhere in here, so he's reading the directory URI. Weird. Then he does a lookup of it here. Okay, now this match statement is used to bind the name. I'm going to be very interested to hear his explanation of this. In any case, I think in order for anybody to develop something that has a number of, more than a couple of deploys to RChain, is going to have problems managing the URIs. And I think it's important to get this done before the hackathon.
Well, this is great. We've been all along talking about, we knew that we needed developer tools. So now they're starting to appear. So we appreciate you and Dan creating these developer tools. So this is a big part of helping this will help grow the developer community, the ecosystem. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Coming up to the top of the hour here anyway.
Yeah.
In any case, anybody have any other questions or any wish lists for the education for next week? If assuming Thomas Love is going to be off again.
Yeah. Well, yeah, more developer tools, or maybe with the hackathon coming up, it's all about learning Rolang, or that's a big part of it's learning Rolang. No, what I might do next week is I took all of our Rolang, Joshi Rolang hours in the Divi DAO, and I created a playlist for all of those, and then I created a playlist for all general topic Rolang as well. So I can show people who attend next week how to find these Rolang playlists. And so maybe that might be helpful.
Okay. One of the things that we should probably do, I think it would be instructive, is if we were to go through the RChain stuff and try all these cases, see if they still work.
Oh, okay.
These examples, and then I guess learn about RChain. Now, RChain uses templates, which are pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it handles. URIs and such, but they're saying that a lot of the people will be coming with a Python background.
Right.
So we have to at least make sure this stuff works.
Yeah. Good point.
And and there may be some other tools that we or maybe some simple improvement or something that we can request anyway.
So, and when we say RChain, that means we're writing in Python, and then that code is being converted into Rolang. Is that correct?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
The application is written. The application is written in Python to to use RChain.
To use RChain. Oh, I see. Okay.
If you let's see, where, we go to examples here. Transfer, assign, deploy. Okay, this is. We can see that we're going to fill in here from address to address and then an amount. Okay, and there's the render contract template. No, that's the name. Where to go? Well, it goes. It wasn't an example, so. Uh-oh, I lost my power again. But we're down to the last minute here anyway. But there's a template for doing a transaction, and it fills in those values from the Python code. So, how to.
Okay. It's nice meeting you, Nevin.
Nice to meet you.
See you guys.
Bye.
It's 11 o'clock.
Yep. See you.
Have a good one.
Have a great week.